Are you tired of feeling like you need an entire computer science degree just to create a simple website? Do you want to express your creativity and your professional value without getting bogged down with technical details? Well, Hostinger's AI website builder is the answer for you. With its intuitive drag and drop interface and advanced AI technology integrated seamlessly into the builder, you can create a website that reflects your vision in just a few minutes. The days of being held back by coding and clunky interfaces and content generation are over. Hostinger's AI website builder empowers you to bring your ideas to life and to share them with the world with one simple business explanation. Now, this video is going to be twofold. I'm going to be showing you guys how to use the AI website builder as well as how to use the regular website builder inside of Hostinger. With Hostinger's AI website builder, all you have to do is purchase your domain name and hosting and then answer one single prompt and your website will automatically be generated using AI. It's literally that simple. It's going to ask you for the name of your business, what type of website you're looking for, whether it's a blog, e-commerce, whatever, and then a short description about the business. And then Hostinger is going to use AI to automatically generate a complete website for you, including images and compelling text and everything else in just a few minutes using AI. I mean, after that, you're done. Tutorial over. In less than a few minutes, you have generated an entire website complete with everything it needs using AI. No, but seriously, all jokes aside, after I show you guys how to build a website using AI, the second part of this video is going to show you guys how to use one of the pre-made website templates from Hostinger to build your website rather than letting AI do it for you. But don't you worry. Even when you use one of those website templates, you can still use AI to write all of the text content for your website and it'll do a lot more. So I'll show you guys how to do all of that later on in the tutorial. By the end of this tutorial, you guys are going to know completely how to use Hostinger's website builder, whether it be through templates or AI generation, and you'll have a fully functioning website at your fingertips, published and ready to go. Let's go ahead and jump right into step number one, which is to get your domain name and web hosting. Step number one is to get your domain name and web hosting through Hostinger. Now, in order to actually have a website function, you have to have two things. You have to have a domain name and you also have to get some web hosting. It's the same thing as getting a phone number and service with Verizon or T-Mobile or any of those service providers. Web hosting is like signing up for the service, and then your domain name is like your phone number. It's the place you go to call someone. It's also the place you go to the website. So in order to get your domain and hosting, just click on the very first link that's down in the description, or you can go to createaprowebsite.com/hostinger, and it'll take you to a special co-branded landing page that we have with them. Now, this affiliate link compensates us for making this video, but it also provides you with an absolute massive discount on your hosting plan. It takes off like $100 from your bill. So let me show you guys how to get that discount right now. So from the special co-branded landing page that we have, you're going to scroll on down and you'll see that you can choose which hosting plan you want. We've got the single, the premium, and the business plan. Now, I always recommend the most popular plan, which is the premium web hosting plan. For $2.99 a month, you're going to get so much stuff. You get a free domain name, which is the biggest deal. You only have to pay $10 for it, but it comes included with the plan, so that's pretty cool. You get things like unlimited bandwidth, the free SSL, as many emails as you want. So if my domain is levi.com, then I could have an email that says support@levi.com. So I can have as many emails hooked up to my website as I want, those kinds of things. So for all those reasons, I always recommend the premium. So that's what we're going to do for this tutorial. I'm going to click on select. And from here, we've got your payment screen. And first we get to choose the period. So how often you get charged. And you can choose to do a month to month or every 12 months, 24 or 48 months. Obviously, the bigger the plan, the more you save. But I'm going to go with the 12 months right here, saving $108. So it's instead of $11.99, it's $2.99 per month. So that's pretty cool. So from here, I'm going to scroll on down and I just enter in my credit card information and they've got everything: credit card, PayPal, Google Pay, whatever you need. You also want to enter in your email address right here. So I'll see you guys in just a second and I'll enter in all of my credit card information. But really quickly, I just want to show you guys, you're saving from $143, you're going all the way down to $35 right here. So like somewhere around $110 you're saving. The domain name you're getting for free, so that's $0. There's a setup fee, but you're getting it for free. And then, so you'll see that the plan discount, 75% off, minus the 108, taxes and fees are zeroed out. So you guys are getting a steal for your first website. $35.88 for your first time 12-month payment. So that's pretty good. So I'm going to enter in my credit card information and I'll see you guys in just a moment. All right, so once you finish your payment information, you'll be taken to a page that looks like this. So this is where we get to set up our website. I'm going to click on Start Now right here, and we get to choose if we want to create a website or migrate an old one to Hostinger. And so if you guys already have a website built and you're trying to migrate it over, this is where you would go. But for this tutorial, we're going to be creating a new website. So I'm going to click on select right here. And now we get to select a platform. And for this tutorial, we're going to be using the Hostinger Builder with AI. And so I'm going to click on select right here. And now we get to choose our domain name for the website. And so if you guys chose the premium plan like I did, you'll have the claim a free domain name right here because that's included with your plan and it's free. So that's cool. We're going to click on select, and down below we can start trying out domain names to see if they're available. Now over here you can choose your domain, and I'm always going to go with a .com right here. It's the most common that people look for when they're looking for a website, and on top of that it's kind of the most professional looking, so that's what I would recommend. If you can't find your domain name in a .com though, you can always try different things like a .net or something like that, but I recommend a .com. So from here we can try out some different domains and see what's available. So I'm going to try out Levi Freelance Photography. I know it's a really long one, but I don't feel like trying to figure out if it's available or not. There's no way that this is taken. We're going to click on search and it's available. So Levi Freelance Photography, because my name is Levi and I'm going to build a freelance photography website. Okay, so from here we're going to click on continue, and this is going to be our registration for the domain name, and click on finish registration. Now that we have the domain name and web hosting out of the way, we can move on to the next step, which presents itself right here. We get to select how you want to create the website. We can either use the template or the AI web builder. Now don't you worry, I'm going to be showing you guys how to use both in this tutorial. So we're going to get started with the AI web builder and then move into templates later on. And again, even if you use the template option, you can still use AI throughout the entire building process of your website. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. Let's get right into it. So first we're going to start with the AI website builder. So I'm going to click on start creating right here. And this is the single prompt that I was talking about at the very beginning intro of the video. It's going to ask you for your brand name, what type of website you want, and then to give a little description about your business. And so you can see an example right here. You also have a second example that's already a placeholder here. So we're a sustainable farming company based in a beautiful city of Newark, New Jersey. We have a passion for quality food and love of sustainable practices. And then here's another one. If you were an Italian restaurant, you might want to write something like, we serve our guests Italian wines and appetizers served freshly on the terrace. The menu also includes baked pasta, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we're going to give a little description about our business, our little photography business here. We've also got the brand name. And so let's think of a name for the brand right now. I guess I could do something like, which is a terrible brand name, but you guys get the idea. This is kind of the example that I'm going with here. And then we can also do a website type. And so if we click on website type, we've got an online store, which I'm not trying to build a store. I'm probably going to go with a business or a portfolio, but we've got the store, blog, business, portfolio. And then I've played extensively around with building websites with their AI builder. Off camera, I built like close to 15 different websites to see all of the different variations that they can create with the AI. And so that being said, whenever you build an other website, it doesn't matter if in your description you say, this is my portfolio website, I'm a photographer, blah, 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 blah. It's still going to build a business website. So I'm not sure what the option for other actually means. I tried putting keywords into my website description, like online store. So I said something like, this is my online store for selling pots and pans, blah, 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 blah. And it still built me the business website. It didn't put an online store inside. So not sure what other is. We'll just stick to these four right here. I'm going to try the portfolio website because obviously I'm doing a photography website. I guess I could also do a business website, but we'll just do portfolio for this example. Okay, so for here, I'm actually going to go ahead and just paste in my own description that I already created off camera. All right, and so you guys can read this if you want. Let me go ahead and just scroll through it slowly, and you guys can pause wherever you want. But essentially, it's the gist is Levi Hagen Photography, or Levi Freelance Photography. We specialize in capturing stunning landscape photography, highlights the beauty of blah, blah, blah. We're dedicated to doing a bunch of stuff. Actually, I'm going to delete the sentence because it looks like it cut it off. I didn't have enough characters, so whatever. Again, this is just an example, so I just typed out a bunch of stuff for fun. Okay, so from here, we've got a great description. It's not too short, as you can see. And so from here, I'm just going to click on Create Website. All right, now we got a prompt that says that our website is ready, so that's pretty cool. Let's see what we have. So this is the website completely generated by AI. I didn't touch a single thing. So as you can see, it says capturing the beauty of nature. You'll notice that every time I hover over text, I can literally click on this button right here, rephrase text, and Hostinger is going to use AI, text-based models, kind of similar to like ChatGPT or something like that, to rephrase this text in a way that's going to match up with the business of Levi Hagen Photography or Levi Freelance Photography and all of those kinds of preliminary things. And so you'll see down below, we've got some more text right here. At Levi Freelance Photography, we specialize in capturing stunning landscape photography that highlights the beauty of nature with a passion, blah, 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 blah. And so in that description, I said that I'm a landscape photographer. And so they use AI to generate that text. I didn't paste that into the website. So that's pretty cool. We've also got a picture of a camera right here. And if I want, I can click on regenerate image if I don't like that one, and I can choose a different image. That's a pretty cool image, but for some reason the guy's head's cut off. So let's try it one more time. Same thing, guy's face is cut off. Woman's face is cut off. Okay. Okay, that's better. So it's a bunch of photography equipment. I can do the same thing with text if I want to. I can rephrase the text and it'll try something else using AI. There we go. So Levi Freelance Photography is dedicated to capturing breathtaking landscape photography that showcases the magnificence of nature. Really cool. I didn't write any of that. Okay, we'll scroll on down and we've got the portfolio. We've got a fake email that we'll probably have to rephrase the text later. Some social icons that we can link up later. But it went ahead and created an entire portfolio with majestic picture of mountains, seascapes, which I wouldn't call that a seascape, but you know, it's a river, whatever. Scroll on down, we've got enchanting forests, and there's a forest in the background. I mean, this is pretty cool so far. I'm actually really impressed. It says captivating landscapes, but this is a person, so maybe we should regenerate this image really quickly. That's close enough, I guess, just for lack of trying to regenerate images till I get the perfect one. And then we've got custom prints, which that doesn't really scream custom prints, but we could regenerate if we wanted to, and just, yeah, we'll just go with the camera picture for now. It comes with an About Us section, or it would probably say About Me, but it's considering Levi Freelance Photography a business that probably has a bunch of people in it, and not just a freelancer like me. But there's like my studio, and then you've got a contact form, and everything's pretty cool. So we can scroll up to the top here. I want to show you guys that not only does Hostinger build a website for you generated by AI, so you don't even have to lift a finger. Not only does it build one, it builds 3 individual websites down here below. So this is number 1. If I click on number 2, this is the second version of an AI generated website that I have. So capturing the beauty of nature. Got a cool picture here. It's the same one as the first website. It's just laid out differently, right? The same text right here. Now my portfolio looks like it's stacked in line rather than zigzagging back and forth, so that's pretty cool. Here's the About Us section, get in touch. All right, now let's check out the third option that we have. And so we've got this picture right here with this little abstract art, I guess. Capturing the beauty of nature, that's the same text, same pictures and same text, lays it out in a different way. And there's our contact form. Pretty cool. Now, another thing that you can do, not only these templates, you also have the style tab and pages. So if you go to the style tab, you can literally change all of the font on the website and all of the colors with a click of a button. So if I want to change it to like this white, dark blue, light blue kind of color scheme, here's the dark blue. I've got the white in the background. And it looks like this is that light gray right there. So it's not really using much of the light blue. Let's try something else. Let's try a different website template. But you guys get the idea. I can change the colors here. So let's use the earthly tones. And so now the top is tan, as you can see. Or I can go with the chic or the midnight blues. I can change the text as well if I want to. And I can go over to the third option. This will probably be the light blue. So let's try this one. Go to organic breeze. Nope. Okay, so organic breeze is going to be the dark blue. But you guys get the idea. You can scroll through here and choose whatever color you want. And so now it's using that pinkish color, and I can choose what fonts I want. I can go a little funky or futuristic or something like that. Oh, that's some cool text. So you guys get the idea. With the AI builder, not only does it build it for you in seconds, but it builds 3 of them for you. I was very shocked. I thought this was a really cool feature, the AI website builder. So let's go ahead and keep moving on. So I'm gonna go ahead and change the style back to like organic breeze, and let's go with number 3 because it's kind of more of a minimalistic looking website. So not only can you add styles, change the fonts, and you get 3 different versions of the website. On top of that, you can also customize the site even further by adding pages. So if I want to, with the click of a button, I can add a blog, and then I can go to my blog page. Now it's going to be empty because I don't have any blog posts, but I can do the same thing and add an online store, and it's automatically going to have a shopping cart built into the header. If I go over to online store, I've got all these fake products that I would eventually have to edit so that they would be my products, but they go ahead and build 6 templates for you, so that's pretty cool. And then I can also add an appointments page, but just by clicking on the button right here, and I can go to the appointments page, and right here, they can sign up for, buy tickets to whatever this appointment is, essentially. So that's pretty cool. And you can go over here and just delete those pages if you don't want them on your website. Now, there's one last thing that I wanted to cover about the AI website builder. Remember earlier when I told you guys that I kept clicking go back over here, and I kept trying out different websites, and I told you guys I built like 15 different websites? Well, what I did off camera, just to see if there would be any difference, right? Like if I kept regenerating websites, would it look any different? I went in here and I used ChatGPT on another tab, and I created like 15 different website descriptions for like 15 different businesses, right? And what I did was I built like 3 online stores, 3 blogs, 3 businesses, 3 portfolios. And then the reason I got up to like 15 was because I did a couple of the other websites to see what it would do. And that's how I know that it's just going to build the business website. But when I built all of those websites, what I noticed was it doesn't matter if I change my title and I change whatever I write in here. The only thing that Hostinger is using this font for, or this text for right here, is to develop your text content. So if I were to change this text out for a different prompt and I change anything about it and I click on create website, you'll see that the website is exactly the same. So if I scroll on through the website, the text content might be a little different, especially when you use different prompts. Obviously, I'm too lazy right now to go and just develop a bunch of different prompts for you guys. You guys can try it out for yourself. Whenever you want to regenerate the website, you can go over here and click on the back button and try out a different prompt. Whenever I did it, it was always the same layout. You've got this solid color background with one picture right here. You scroll on through, the portfolio zigzags just like it did earlier, as you can see. And then we've got the about us and contact. And then remember, style 1, it had the circle, or style 2, and then style 3 has the picture over here with this little icon, the little badge or whatever. It's gonna build the exact same website every single time. The only thing that's going to change is your text and your pictures. Doesn't matter how many times you do this. Now, that being said, that depends on if you build a business website, a portfolio website, a online store, or a blog. They've got the same 3 blog websites, the same 3 online store websites, and the same 3 business websites or portfolio. You guys get the idea. I tried building so many of these websites that I'm not even getting my thoughts straight right now. So I wanted to do that for you guys because I was curious if it would generate something different, and it won't. So as you can see, we also have a create again button up here in the top right corner. So let me go over to template number 1 to show you guys that nothing's going to change, except for the text and the pictures, obviously. So I'm building a portfolio site. If I hit create again, it's going to regenerate the same website. Let's see what differences it has. All right, and after I hit create again, as you can see, the website has the exact same orientation, except for different text and different pictures. So I've still got a picture right here. I've got my title and I have my text. And if I scroll on down, you'll see that my portfolio still zigzags like this. And then I've got my about section, same thing, picture, text, and a text box. And then my contact form right down here. If I go to style 2, you'll see it still has the circle image with my text centered up. Style 3, it's gonna have the picture with the banner up here. So no matter how many times you hit create again, or how many times you enter in different prompts, you're still gonna get the same 3 portfolio style websites. The only thing that changes is your pictures and text. So I wanted to show you guys the trouble of doing that yourself. That's what's gonna happen. Okay, so whenever you guys have a website that you want, let's just pretend that I think this website is the best website in the world and I want it to be mine, then I'm gonna go over here and click on continue. And it's going to open up your website inside of the Hostinger website builder. Now, as you can see, I don't even have a logo, so that's why it's saying that. But you'll see that now I've got my website inside of the builder, and so I can come over here and I can add text and buttons and pictures and things like that. Now, we're going to get to how to use the builder a little bit later on in the video, so don't you worry. What we're actually going to do is go back and we're going to try looking at all of the templates for the website. So before I teach you guys how to build, we're looking at the templates and then the AI. So let's go ahead and do that now. We're going to go ahead and click on this little back button right here, and we're going to say try AI builder or change the template, because what we're going to do is actually change over to templates rather than the AI builder. All right, so now we're back on that screen that we saw earlier. Do you guys remember? Right here, let's build your website in 1 minute. And they're not joking. It'll literally generate a website in 1 minute, which is cool. So instead of using the AI website builder, we're gonna say, now we're gonna use a pre-made template. Okay, so now these are all official Hostinger website templates, and you guys can scroll through all of them if you want. There's like 15 pages to look through all of them. Up here, we've got the search bar. So if you're looking for like a photography website, you can literally just search photography. And you can see all of the photographer templates, right? And then if you go up to the top, we also have categories. And so I can go ahead and just remove that, and I can choose a different category if I want. So you guys can look through and do like maybe a fashion website, and they've got all of these. We've got technology websites, which honestly, a lot of their technology websites look pretty sick. Check this one out. I thought this one looked absolutely ridiculously cool. I love that one. But anyways, as you guys can see that whenever you like a specific template, you guys can always click on the preview button, or you can just select it right away. You can also add it to the heart, like you can add it to your favorites for later. Like if you're not ready to choose a template yet, you can add like a bunch of them to your favorites and then decide between those. But you can preview and you can select the template. When you click on preview, you get to look at the entire website, as you can see. And the entire website is interactable. So I can go to the About page, I can go to any of the project pages, the press, partners, contact, back to the home page, as you can see. And then if I like the website, I can go over here and click on Start Building. And we're not going to do that just yet because we're going to select a different template. But if you look over here, we also have the responsive modes. So I can see the desktop version, the tablet version, and the mobile version of the website. Because if you think about it, people are going to look at your website on different screen sizes. And so when you're building a website, you have to pay attention to your mobile responsive mode, which that's what this is. Just deciding if you want it to be on a desktop screen, a tablet, or mobile, right? So that's pretty cool. We'll go ahead and click on back to go back to all of the templates here. You guys can have fun looking through all of these different templates if you want to. Oh, they also have e-commerce and blog websites. Remember on the AI how I added a blog page and an e-commerce page, or like a store page? They have those too. So you can go through here and check out their e-commerce pages, you can check out their blogs, and you guys can decide which one is right for you. What I'm gonna do is go back to all templates. I looked through a bunch of these earlier on before, like off camera. I really like this one, so I'm gonna go ahead and click on select template right here, but let me show you guys what I'm talking about. I'll preview it first. It's a really simple website, and I wanted it to be simple and easy for this tutorial because I'm sure we got a lot of beginners here watching. And so as you scroll through, it's very simple, just some text and a button. You scroll through a little bit more, we've just got text. This is more of like a heading text, and this is more like paragraph, and then we've got a button. Really simple. So when we want to change this to be your website, all we got to do is just replace the text and replace the pictures. So it's going to be pretty easy. But if you guys come up to the top here, again, this is completely interactable. So you can go to the About page, the Projects page, the Services page, Careers, and all of those things. Back to the home page. And we can also see how it looks on mobile and things like that. All right, now that I've shown you guys the option between using one of Hostinger's templates or using the AI website builder, let's go ahead and move on to learning how to make changes to that template or the AI generated site using Hostinger's website builder. We're gonna be covering everything that this builder can do, from building a simple website all the way to adding blogs and e-commerce functionalities to your site. We're gonna build a website together here and now, so follow along with me and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so when you have a template that you like and you're ready to start building, which I'm gonna choose this one, you're gonna go up to the top right corner and click on Start Building. And it's gonna ask, are you sure you wanna delete the current content on your website? Which it's normally not gonna ask you about this, but remember, we just created an AI website, so it's saying, hey, do you wanna delete your AI generated website? And I'm gonna say yes, because I wanna start fresh and just use this template. But it doesn't really matter if you use the AI website or if you use the template. Both times, they're gonna take you to the exact same editor, as you can see. And so earlier we had the AI website in here, but now we've got my template, and I'm gonna show you guys how to use this next. So first of all, I'm gonna close out of this little tab right here. All that is this site checkup, or the site setup checklist right here. And it's just telling you to do things like edit your first header, which would be just changing this text. Update an image, which would be like changing one of these pictures for the first time. So it's kind of a useless checklist. I'm gonna be showing you guys how to use everything inside of the builder, obviously. So we're gonna close out of that tab for now. Okay, so right over here on the left-hand side, we've got the menu, which is where we can select things like elements, the pages, website styles, and different settings and things like that. Over here on the right-hand side, we've got the entire website preview, as you guys can see. And this is where we're gonna be doing most of the editing. As you can see, when I hover my mouse over any of the parts of the website, these boxes appear, basically showing me that I can make changes to each individual part. So let's talk about the layout of a website. If you're familiar with WordPress and Elementor, which is pretty much what I do every other tutorial with on this channel, so if you've seen any of my other videos at all, then you're familiar with the whole sections of a website, and then inside those are columns, and then inside those are widgets and things like that. Well, that's not the case here with Hostinger Website Builder. All you have are sections, as you can see right here, and that's basically like this giant box. It's the hero section. Inside of a section, you can basically just put whatever you want. So you can put all your widgets, or they're called elements here. And so if I click here, you'll see I can add text, more buttons, images, galleries, videos, shapes, maps, things like that. These are all widgets. So if I want to add a button, I can literally just drag it in, drop it, and there's a button. It's the same as this button, it's just a different color. And I can drag this wherever I want inside of my website. And so all you have is a section, and then inside of that are a bunch of elements that you can move. Pretty simple. And as you can see, this is one section. If I scroll on down, here's another section, and this would be the About section. And this would be the Projects section, as you can see, and so on. We've got a services section, career section, and then that's the footer of the website. So what we're editing right now is the hero of the website. Now, you'll also notice that when I click on a section, there's a little check mark next to it. If I hover my mouse over this one, you'll see that there's no check mark next to it. And that means I'm editing this section. I have it selected. So if I come down here and click, you'll see that I'm now editing this section and not this one. So that's an easy way to tell which section you're currently editing. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on this one. Oh, and also this right here, the Rate Smart layout. This is basically just trying to leave a review for the Hostinger web builder. So you click on it and you can leave a review if you like the way that they do this. So you can pretty much ignore that. Okay, so over here on the right-hand side, we've got things like change background, the section settings, so the settings for this section. You can duplicate the section. You can also delete the section, right? And so I just duplicated it and then deleted the duplicate. You can move it up or down. So if I move it down, now it's below the About section. And if I want to move it down again, it'll be under Projects. And so there, as you can see, Projects is up here, and so here's the hero section. I can move it up. So let's go ahead and move it up to the top here. And so now it's at the top of my website again. I can hide it, which is basically you can change the visibility of whether or not you can see this section only on mobile or only on desktop. So I can hide it on desktop and now you can't see it, but on the mobile version you can. But that's more of an advanced thing and you guys don't have to worry about it. So that's visibility for sections. And then we've got the more button, which is where you can just copy the section and then I guess you could paste it somewhere else. But that's kind of the same thing as duplicating. Now, if we click on change background, you'll see it opens up section settings and then there's the picture. If I click on edit section, it's the exact same thing. Section settings, there's the picture. So it doesn't really matter which one of these two you push. If you want to change the background, click on change background. And if you want to go to the settings, you can go to the settings. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so when you're editing the section settings, you can change things about the actual section, like the background picture. And if I want to replace this image, I can literally just click on replace image and I can choose from the on-site library, which is basically the pictures that are downloaded on my website right now. I can choose from images, documents, or I can go to free images, which is really cool. And so it's going to use images that you can use for free from online. And I can search for things like mountains, for example, or I could try landscape. So here's landscape pictures, and if I'm a landscape photographer, I'd probably want to change it to something like this rather than being a building. So let's just try this one because I think it's a really pretty picture. And so for instance, if I'm going to be a landscape photographer, I'd probably come in here, go to free images, and look for a bunch of pictures about landscape, as you can see. And I'd pick one. I think this one looks really cool. It's actually a really pretty picture. So all I would have to do is click on add to page, and I just replace the image. Easy as that. And so now I've got the picture in the background there. The next thing you have is image overlay, which I can drag this, and it's basically just going to add, as you can see, an overlay opacity. And so I've got either 100% gray or 0% gray. And so if I want it to be a little easier to read this text, I can just add some overlay like this. And now it's a little bit easier to read the text, as you can see. And I'll probably leave it at like 60%. I think that looks good. Let's see. The last one is a fixed background. So right now, if I scroll, the picture moves with the page. If I change it to fixed background, now as I scroll, it has like this cool parallax effect back there, as you can see. But personally, I'm just going to leave it as the regular. You can tell that it kind of changes the position of the image. It's basically going to zoom in so that it has space to scroll. But again, I'm just going to leave it as regular. Now from here, the last thing you can do under background is you can actually change to a color instead. And so right now it's using the white color, but if I chose like red, for instance, now I've got a red background. Or I could change to blue or to green and all of these colors, right? Doesn't really matter what color you choose, you're going to change the background color. But again, I'm just going to go back to image, add image, and I'm probably going to have to go reselect that landscape picture, just like this. Let's see if I can find it again. Oh yeah, there it is. Cool, same spot. Click on add to page. Okay, so that is all of the background settings. We can also go to the layout. And so right now we've got snap to guides and snap to elements. And so these two right here refer to, one of them is snap to widgets and one of them is snap to guides. And so for instance, if I try to center this, as you can see, there's that yellow dotted line. If I go over here to the section settings, layout, and I turn off snap to guides, or excuse me, snap to elements is I think what it is. Then if I try and center this, as you can see, I don't get a center line anymore. I just get either left or right. There's no center line. And then I can completely turn those off by going back into settings and turning them both off. So this is the snap to guides. Remove that and you no longer have that grid of squares in the background. And so now I can literally just place it wherever I want. And there's no guidelines. As you can see, I can put it here, I can put it there, over here. But you're not going to have perfectly centered objects, so it might look a little weird when your website looks like this, for instance. If I click on preview, if someone comes to your website and it's like off center, it can bother some people. I mean, it's already bothering me. So I'm going to go back to editor. And by the way, you click on preview and you're just previewing your website. It's not live. You're just looking at a preview. So what I would do is personally, unless you had some kind of a special situation, I would leave both of these turned on. You want the squares in the background and you want your centering lines so that when I move it, I can make sure I am centered, just like that. Okay, so under layout, that's what those two do. And then we've also got row height and row gap. So you can adjust how high those squares are, as you can see. And then every time, as you can see, I'm snapping to a certain portion of the square, right? And then not only can you adjust the height, but you can also adjust the gap in between the squares. So as you can see, you can make it super like this, like super narrow, or you can do, you know, like super fine, or you can have like bigger notches basically. So I'll let you guys play around with your row gaps and heights and stuff like that. It's completely up to you. The last thing is anchor, and basically an anchor name is you're basically just giving this section a special name that's special to that section. And I'll show you guys what that means later, but for now, we're not gonna touch the anchor. Okay, so those are all of the section settings. That's how you can basically make any changes you want to the background. Now, the last thing that's not inside of any of these buttons is the actual section height, and Hostinger makes it really easy. If I wanna make this full screen, all I gotta do is just come down here to the section height right here, and I can literally drag it to be as tall or as short as I want. It's that simple. So I'm gonna drag it all the way down because I want it to basically be pretty much a full screen. So let me scroll down a little bit more and I'm gonna drag it a little bit more, just like this. All right, perfect. So now this section is practically full screen, as you can see. And so I might drag it up just a little bit and it's pretty much perfectly right at the bottom of my screen. Tiny bit more. As you can see, it's a bit of a science. Okay, perfect. I like that. And then what I can do, I can click and drag and highlight multiple things at the same time, which is incredibly useful. And all I gotta do is now I can drag both of them at the same time. It's pretty cool. And so I'm just gonna center these up to kind of like the middle of this screen right here. Perfect. And you can click out of it whenever you want. Now, I always like to save my work. You can see that autosave is on, but I always save my work because you never know if your Wi-Fi is gonna cut out or your computer glitches or whatever it might be. You get disconnected and your most recent changes weren't saved. So I always click on save after I make things. I kind of just make it a habit. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things over here on the left-hand side because you guys know what these buttons do, right? And then if I scroll on down, the same buttons appear on every single section that I edit. So now I'm changing the background of this one. It's a color. If I decided to use an image, that's how easy it is. I just select image, right? We'll leave it on white for now. But so you guys know how to use all of those. The last thing I forgot about is if you want to add a section, you can always just hover your mouse in between two sections and you'll see the button. I can click on add. And then I can actually add a section in between. And so these are a bunch of different examples of sections you could build. So it's like a template. So if I wanted to add a gallery, I could add a gallery in here. And so now there's a gallery in between my home and my about section. As you can see, let's delete that one. Let's, for instance, say that you just want to add a blank section and you want to build it yourself. Well, you can do that. You can just click on add blank section right here. And now you got a blank one and you can start adding some stuff to it, right? So you could add a button, you could add a picture, like those kinds of things. Delete that whole thing. So that's how you can add a section in between. And if you wanted to add something on top of this, you just click on add section up here. Okay, so right off the bat, I mean, we just edited the hero section. Let's go ahead and finish up by changing the text. And then I want to add a subtitle as well. So I'm going to go over to add element and I can literally just add another text element right here. Let's go ahead and drag the first one up just a bit. So something like that. We can drag the button down a little bit. So I make space for my subtitle right here. And we can type out exactly what we want. I'm just gonna drag it out so it's kind of like the full width again. And let's type something, shall we? We can always use AI Assist, which actually that's the first thing I wanted to show you guys is even when you're inside of the builder, you can use AI to write something for you. So you could say something like, you could generate a subtitle about photography and it's gonna generate a little blurb about photography. It might take a second though. All right, so now I've got my little subtitle here, as you can see, but that's way too long. So what we're gonna do is just completely delete everything, and we're just gonna write our own. Photography and videography. And then up here, you've got all of your basic text functions. You can change the color, so I'm gonna change it to white, just like that. You've got the font, the style, so right now I'm using paragraph 2, but you can use any of those if you want to make this a heading 1. But this is already your heading 1, so you'd want this to be a paragraph text. Actually, I mean, you can make this like a heading 2 or a heading 3 or something like that. So let's actually do that. Let's make it heading 2. It's gonna automatically change the style because these are like templates essentially, if you're a beginner to web design, but don't worry about that. So let's go ahead and change it to white. You can change the font if you want to, but I'm not going to. We can reduce the size. So let's try something like, I don't know, 32. I think that looks pretty good. And then from here, we can change the text alignment to center. And you guys have some more options like the line height. You can add a background color, things like that. AI text generator, which we just used. And you can do that by just literally clicking on the widget and you can click on AI assist. It's pretty easy. You click on edit text and it's going to open where you can actually type on here, or you can just like double click on it. And now I've got my cursor in here, as you can see. Okay, so once you've got your text written, you can literally just click out of it and then drag it into place. And you can place it wherever you want. And so I'm just going to center it like that, make it my subtitle, and I can drag my button right underneath it, just like that. I think that looks pretty good. Let's click on save really quickly and I'll preview just to kind of get a full picture. I think that looks good. I'm not really gonna make any changes to it except for get a quote. You can always change the text, so let's do that now. Let me change the first text really quickly. So edit text and we'll say something like this. So something like that, and we'll say, let's change it from 104 to like 100. See if that'll fit into one size. We'll remove that, perfect. Okay, there's only one way to photo. Photography and videography, Levi Hagen, you know, just basically building a photography website, you guys get it. Okay, so there's my text, there's my subtitle. Now we can change the button. All you gotta do is click on it and you can say edit button. These are all the same. As you can see, I could delete it, I could duplicate it, hide it, those kinds of things, more, whatever. We can edit the button and then we've got the general tab. And so the first thing we have is the button text. So it says get a quote. You can literally just type out whatever you want. Okay, I cannot type today. Perfect, so schedule an appointment, so something like that. And then you can choose where the button links to. So basically when someone clicks on it, where are they gonna go? And so if you click on it, you've got a few different options. You've got a web address, And so you would literally just put in like a URL. You've got a file download. You've got a section. And so, ooh, that's actually, here, let me give you guys an example really quickly. If I chose section, it's gonna ask, where do I go? I don't have a named section. If you guys remember, we go back to edit section. Remember the anchor, how I told you that's the name? Well, for instance, let's just say that this is the about page, the about section or whatever. We'll go over to anchor and we'll just call it about, just like that. That's all you gotta do. Well, if we're editing the button here, we can change the link to, we can choose it to be a section, and then we can say, go to the about section. And so now if I preview and I click on the button, it's gonna drag you down to the about page or the about section. So that's pretty cool. I wanted to show you guys, that's how you can have buttons drop people down to different places. That's how you can also place like a back to top button down here in the bottom of your website. So when people click on it, it'll scroll them all the way to the top. So that's pretty cool. Let's go back to the editor. We're gonna edit the button here. Okay, so we've got a web address, file download, and a section, and then you've just got a list of all of the pages that are on your website. And so as you can see, I've got the about, projects, services, careers, contacts. You've got projects, services, careers, about, careers. These are the individual pages under careers. They've got like some sub pages. Don't worry about it. So let's just say I want this to go to the contact page. I can just choose contact, just like that. And then you can ask if you want to open it up on a new tab or not. So when they click it, is it going to open a new tab like this, or is it just going to open on the current tab? And that's up to you guys. You can go over the style tab, and from here you can change the fill color. So this is like the background white color. The text color is black, and so you can change that. You go over to the hover color, and you'll see that these two colors changed. They inverted, right? So for instance, let me play around with these just to show you guys. If I were to choose red, now there's the background, and if I chose this one to be white, now it's a white text. So that's the text in the background. And then if I go to hover, I could change this to like blue, and I could change this to white. And so now when I hover, it changes to blue with white text, as you can see. But we're just gonna go back to the usual. And so it was a white button with black text. You go to hover, and it was, I think, like a dark gray with white text. Yeah, so like this. Oh, just kidding, sorry. The fill color was dark gray, text color was white. There we go. That's pretty much what it was. So that's how you guys can change the color. You can also change the font. You can change like the font of it. You can change things like that. So you guys can choose your stuff here. You can change the font size. So I might actually reduce it a little bit so it's not as big on the button. And then finally down below, we've got the border color. And so you guys can choose whatever border color you want. So if I want to make it red, for instance, just to show you guys, and then I increase the border width, as you can see, I'm just adding a border on the button. I think it looks terrible. So I never use borders. Let's just make it transparent again so you can't even see it. But that's how you can add a border. And you also got the corner radius. So if you don't like square buttons, you can have them round, just like that. There you go. Okay, so that's the style tab. Last, we have the animation tab. You only got 4 options. No animation, fade, so it's gonna fade in like that, slide, it'll slide up, and scale, so it kind of like zooms in. I'm gonna leave it on slide. Everything on the website by default is gonna be slide. So if I hit save and go and preview the website really quickly. All right, so now that we're in preview mode, you'll notice that everything's gonna slide. Let me go ahead and refresh the page. There we go. See how everything's slid up? When I scroll down, it fades into place, fades in, fades in. So by default, it looks like some of them are slide and some of them are fade, but that's just kind of like a little motion animation to make it look a little fancier. So there's that. Okay, so we'll go back to the editor. Okay, so it looks like the hero section is done. We've got only one way to photo, got a subtitle, a button that goes to the contact page, and I forgot to show you guys that if I open the preview and click on schedule an appointment, it takes you to the contact page where they can actually talk to me. So that's cool. Back to the editor. So hero section is done. We can go ahead and move on to the next section, which is the about section. Personally, I'm not really gonna change anything except for obviously this text has got to change. So instead of this business name, we're gonna put Levi Freelance Photography, which is a mouthful. Okay, Levi Freelance Photography, about. Next, I'm probably gonna reduce the size a little bit. Let's try a little bit more. Perfect. Click out of it and I can drag it into place just like that. So about Levi Freelance Photography. Please don't choose a business name that's 3 words long or that's as obnoxiously long as this, because as you can see, it doesn't fit anywhere. I just wanted to give you guys an example. But so about my business, I've got some text right here. I can go over here and click on AI Assist and I can actually ask it to write an about section for me. So let's try something like this. And yes, I realize I'm in all caps and I just don't care. Let me turn it off for you. And we can hit generate text. Perfect. And so now we've got a little bit of an about section here. We've got Levi Freelance Photography is a landscape photography business that specializes in capturing blah, 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 blah. We've got a keen eye for detail, beauty of landscapes, all that stuff. Okay. So first of all, we're going to have to edit the text and remove the old stuff. So let's go ahead and just highlight it, hit delete. So here is our about section. We can reduce the font size a little bit, but you don't want to do too much. What we can do is increase the section height a little bit, and we'll just move the button down. And there we go. We've got our little about snippet. And so about Levi freelance photography. We've got our paragraph here that AI wrote for us, so that's pretty cool. And then we have a button that says read more. And if they click on it, it's gonna take them to the about page. And so if I preview and I go down and I click on read more, it's gonna open the about page. And so you guys would want to enter in all of your actual personal information, obviously. Or you can let AI write it for you, but I'm not going to be editing the about page just for the sake of time. But anyways, okay, so that is the about section. We can move on down to the project section, but let's open up the editor again. So now we're on projects. If you guys don't like that it's got this black background and it's so contrasty, you can always, again, go to change background and you can try doing something different, maybe a little bit lighter. I think that looks just a little bit better. I think black just didn't look right. It was a little too punchy. From here, what we can do is change these images if we want to. So you can literally just click on the picture, you can say change image, and you can literally replace the image. And so either you upload the file from your computer, if you guys have pictures of the projects that you're working on. But for this example, because I don't have any pictures ready, I'm just gonna go over here and go to mountains and pick a picture. Let's choose this one. So we're gonna pretend like I took this picture. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. And so that's, I guess, Frankfurt. Cool. That's a picture of Frankfurt mountains. You guys can obviously change this text by just clicking on it and actually saying where you took the picture. Or if this is if this isn't a photography business and you're building like a plumbing website or something like that, maybe your projects are, this is a mansion that I worked on and here's the name of the mansion or the address or something like that, right? I'm going to let you guys kind of change around your own text, but I just want to show you guys that this is how you can upload your own image or just look for free images. And so I could try something like a beach. Let's try something like, I think that one looks really cool, but it's the wrong orientation. So let's pick something that's landscape. This one looks really pretty. Let's go add. All right. And lastly, we have this one where we can add in our image. And let's try something like a valley or a river. Cool. Let's pick this one. Okay, add to image. All right, and so we've got our projects, and then obviously this button, if I click on it and show you guys, it's gonna take you to the projects page. And you guys remember you can change the text right here and the link. And so when they click on this button, let's save and preview. We'll go on down to projects. When you click on see more, it's gonna take you to the projects page. Back to editor. Okay, so that's the project section. From here, we can move on down to services. And so what we can do is if you want to change this from services to be something else, you totally can. The first thing I'm going to do is change this text up. So let's go ahead and edit text. And we're going to just delete it all. And then I'll click back onto that widget. Oh, looks like if I delete the text, the widget's gone. So let's go ahead and just add our own instead. And we'll kind of place it right here. As you can see, those grid lines are perfect. It snapped it perfectly into place. I can click right here and I can say edit my text, and let's go ahead and change it to paragraph 2. And then from here, we can use AI to write a paragraph. All right, generate text. All right, let's go ahead and fix this. We're gonna just delete the first part that used to be there. So our landscape photography services are aimed at capturing natural beauty. We specialize in blah, 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 blah. Let's go ahead and shorten this up and just take the first little bit, just like that. And there we go. We've rewritten that little paragraph using AI. I didn't write a bit of it, but it's accurate to our landscape photography business. So that's pretty cool. The more services button, if I go ahead and edit the button, you'll see that it's taking them to the services page, as it should. And then over here, we can actually list out our services. So maybe the first one is like something like this. And then maybe the second one might be like drone photography or something like that. Drone videography. And then maybe the third one is something like graphic design. So there we go. So then we've got the 3 services right here, and they can go to the services page to learn more about each one of these 3. And then we can scroll on down again, and lastly, we've got the careers page. And so you guys might want to change this from careers to be something else. So maybe instead of careers, since I'm a photographer, this is where I would put my actual portfolio or like my gallery. And so in order to do that, what I'm actually going to do is just completely delete this section. And then instead, I'm just gonna add a new section, and I'll choose from the gallery options, and I can choose a vertical or a horizontal kind of orientation. They also have square, as you can see. I'm probably gonna choose this one right here. And then from here, all I have to do is just add some text on the top. So maybe let's go ahead and add some height to it, like this. And then I can literally just drag this entire gallery down. It's literally this easy. And then from here, I just go over to add element, and I can add some text right on top. And so I'll probably stretch it out. I'll edit the text really quickly. My portfolio, and then we can center it. And I think heading 3 is fine. And we can go ahead and just make sure that it's centered up on my dotted line. Perfect. And so now after services, you come down and here's my portfolio. And the portfolio, all I got to do is click on this one and I can manage the gallery. And as you can see, I've got image 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I can delete pictures by clicking on the trash can. And then I can also rearrange them by just clicking and dragging. And so as you can see, the blue line's right there in between. And so now I moved it over. If I come back, now my picture is right here. And so as you can see, the layout kind of matters because it was perfectly laid out in a rectangle earlier. So let's go ahead and manage the gallery and put it back to the front, and we'll close out of that. And so it looks like you would want to make sure that your perfectly cropped images fit the layout of this gallery, right? And so if you've only got 4 squares, then instead of doing this kind of an orientation, what you should have done was probably select the 4 squares, just like this, right? Or you can choose, one of these galleries instead. Those are good examples. But anyways, I've got my portfolio, which shows off my pictures. And so the last thing we might do is maybe change the background up so that it's not white. As you can see, you go from a picture to white to gray to white. So this might want to be something else. So let's go ahead and change the background up, and we can choose a color if we want to. And so maybe we'll choose kind of like this off-white color, just like this. And so that way it shows a little bit of differentiation between sections. Perfect. And so now I'm going to click on save just to make sure that all my changes are saved. So now that we're done editing the meat and potatoes of the website, we can literally edit the header and the footer of the website the exact same way as editing the rest of the website. I can't tell you how unbelievably easy this is. If I want to change the footer, for instance, let's go ahead and do that first because we were already down there. If I want to change the footer, I just click on it. And so now I've got the check button saying that I'm editing it down here. It's the exact same thing as any other section. I can change the background if I want to. Let's change that color to be a little bit lighter. I think that just looks better rather than that black. And then I can increase or decrease the height. So if I want to decrease the height a little bit, maybe I'll do something like this because I don't need such a large footer. And then from here, we've got our text, and text. And you guys know what to do. I can literally just drag this if I want to. So maybe I want to do something like this. We'll have this in line. So it needs to come down a little bit. So in line like that. And then I can just drag this one up right here. That's how you can move whatever you want on your footer. Now, I'm not going to make too many changes, but for instance, we could actually put our logo right here, or maybe instead of obviously Stornway, we'd want to make sure that it says Levi. Well, let's go all caps. Levi Freelance Photography, and we can just stretch that so it fits. Perfect. And then if you guys wanted to add your logo in here, it'd be really easy. You can just go over to add element, and then you can add an image into your footer just like this. And I know it looks terrible, don't worry. We're going to click on it. We would crop the image obviously to make it a lot smaller. And then we would probably just remove that text. So let me just get it out of the way. And then instead we just put this right here, change the image, replace the image, and we can choose the logo, which I'm just gonna use Stornway because I haven't created a logo yet. And so let's say select. And as you can see, the image is not in the correct positioning. So we can go over here to the style, reset the proportions. And just like that, it's going to crunch the image into that tiny little orientation. So you wanna make sure you remember to click on reset proportions. You can also adjust the corner radius, as you can see, which just cuts it off, but that's kind of cool when you have pictures like these where if you want the picture to have a rounded edge. Let me show you guys. Click on this, change image style. You can have these have like a rounded edge if you want to. So something like that. Okay, and so that is how you can put your logo, which ironically looks like text, but that's how you can put your logo into the footer if you want to. But we'll just put Levi Freelance Photography here for now. Perfect, that's my footer. We'll reduce the height a little bit, and I think that looks top tier. Okay, so that's how you edit the footer. We can scroll up to the top, and we've got the header up above as well. Okay, all right, so once we click on the header, you'll be able to edit, obviously, everything that's up here. Now, the logo right here doesn't work the same way. It's actually not an element. You can't just click on it and drag it wherever you want. You actually have 2 options for the header. You can edit the navigation menu, which is this, and you can edit the logo, which is this. That's pretty much it. Obviously, you've got the styles tab where you can change the background. Right now it's transparent, so it's using the picture. I can turn that off, and now it's got a background, which is black. Could change it to whatever color I want, but I think the transparent header always looks fantastic, so I would leave it at that. We can go over here to the logo and to the layout. So the logo is over here on the left-hand side, right? We could replace the image with a logo that we create, and so I'm actually gonna show you guys how to create that logo just a little bit later on. So for now, we're gonna leave it, but this is where you could upload your personal logo if you already have one for your business. You can change the logo width, which is basically the size, as you can see, just by dragging it. And so basically the logo width is just the size, as you can see. You've got the menu item spacing and then also the logo positioning. And so logo positioning, obviously, is just, do you want it on the left, do you want it in the center, or do you want it on the right? So if I choose the right, it'll be over there. right? So I'm just gonna leave it over there on the left. The layout tab is where you can choose the menu position. So if I put the menu on the left, I could put the logo on the right. And so now, as you can see, they switch. But I'm gonna have the logo on the left, and I'll have the menu on the right. You can make it a sticky header. So if you enable this and you scroll down, the header stays there. It doesn't show it down there, but if you go into preview mode, as you can see, my header is now sticky. It's staying on the top. So that's kind of cool. So we'll go back to the header. So make sure the checkbox is there. As you can see, editing the logo and the styles, the like little gear icon, all three of these take you to the same place right here. So it doesn't really matter which one of these three you hit. If you want to edit the navigation, it's going to open the next tab, which we haven't covered yet, but it's right here. So we'll cover pages and navigation in a second. Okay, so back to these settings over here. We're under the layout tab. You guys understand what the sticky header is, menu position, the menu item spacing, so you can add space in between, and you can add padding on top and bottom, which I'm not gonna do. Okay, so that was the logo, and I showed you guys where to replace it. And you can also choose to hide the logo or not, so that's kind of cool. And as you can see, I guess making a single change to the logo was enough to add... Okay, yeah, we're accidentally going through this checklist, ironically, but I'm just gonna go ahead and close that out. Okay, so back under the logo. We've already covered the logo tab, so we can go to the style tab. Now the style tab is just the background, and so if I turn off the transparent, that's the background color. Transparent header, and then you can change the font text. So all of these, you can change the font, the size, and all of that stuff. And you can change the header text color and the hover color. So right now, the text color is white, and then maybe I want the hover color to be like gray. And so now when I hover, it's the same gray that's everywhere else on the website, right? So that's kind of cool. Okay, so that is how you edit the header, the entire website, and then also the footer. It's unbelievably simple with Hostinger's Website Builder. I would dare say way more simple and easy to use and faster than WordPress and Elementor. So it's pretty impressive. Okay, so we've already covered the elements on the website, and we've already covered sections and things like that. So now let's go ahead and start going down these tabs. Now, pages and navigation, I'm actually gonna go out of order. I'm gonna talk about website styles first because it's kind of applicable towards customizing the website. When you click on website styles, you'll notice first is the colors tab. Every time I try to change the color of something, so when I click on a button and I go to the style tab and I try and change the color, you'll notice that I've got like this color palette that's the same up on top, rather than just changing it individually over here. When you use the color palette, what happens is you can come over here to the website styles and I can change the colors of the website in one place. So now, as you can see, let's just kind of find a spot. This dark gray color, which is, I think, this one, I could change it, or I could just copy it. And so if I want to change it, I could click on change, select my color, and I could choose something else. And if I click accept, it would literally change the background color. Let me go ahead and actually change it for you guys. Select, so it's down here. So if I chose this color and hit accept, you'll see that anywhere that's using this color right here just changed to this blue, as you can see. So we're using it down here, we were using it up here, and we're probably using it in other pages of the website. Oh, also the hover color was that dark gray. So as you can see. So this is the global color palette that you can use in the entire website. And the reason they install this is so that you have the same color scheme throughout your entire website. It's a really useful tool. So let me go ahead and just change this back. It was like over here, like a dark gray, accept. And so now we're back to the dark gray. Perfect. Okay, so those are the colors, and you guys can change your color palette however many times you want. It looks like it even keeps track of every place on the website that it's used. So this is used 7 times, 3 times. Kind of interesting. So next, under website styles, we have the text, and this is where we can change the entire website's font. So if you haven't individually changed the font by clicking here and changing the font, if you didn't do that individually, then by default, you used the website global font. And so you can basically change the font of the entire website, as you can see, just by clicking on this. And all of the font is changing, all of this. Change it to Grupo, however you say that, I don't know. And now all of these changed everything. Actually, Grupo looks really cool and fancy. I kind of like that. But anyways, you guys get the idea. Website styles is how you change the style of the entire website all in one place. Go to any of the other pages and you're changing the font on those as well. Okay, so that's how you can change the font, and you can edit the text styles as well. You can click here and you can change the headings and the paragraph styles. So if you guys remember, when I was editing the text, I had these styles. You can edit those as well, but I'm not gonna get into all of that because it would just get tedious and time consuming. Okay, so we have covered colors and text. We can go over to buttons and we can choose what the default button looks like. And these are just like some templates. And so if I chose, this one, now apparently buttons on the website that I haven't changed, because remember I changed the curvature on this one when I was showing you how to use it. Anywhere else on the website, they just change to round. And if I change it to this, now they change to square. Change it to this, now they're completely rectangular versus like a little bit of a curve. Same thing throughout the entire website, as you can see, curved. The only reason that this one is different is because, remember, when I was showing you how to use it, individually chose to remove the border width, or the corner radius right here. So that's why you don't really want to change it individually. You usually want to just change it by going over to website styles, because that way it changes throughout the entire website. Okay, anyways, so that's buttons. Lastly, we can go to animations, and basically this is like a one button for changing all of the animations on the entire website. So do I want everything to slide, everything to scale, everything to fade, and I'm going to choose sliding. So now everything on the website slides, right? So if I change this, I'm changing the entire thing everywhere. So that's pretty cool. So website styles is a really handy tool to have. This is kind of like your global settings here. Okay, so now we've covered website styles. Let's talk about pages and navigation. Your website has multiple pages underneath it. And so you can see that I've got the home page, which is what we're on. We've got the about page right here, projects page, services page, careers, contacts, as you can see. And then under careers, this template has another page. As you can see, this one would take you to a page. Let me preview. This one would take you to the health and safety coordinator page, as you can see, right? We'll go back to editor, we'll go back to the homepage. Also, kind of like a standard is you click on the logo, it's gonna take you to the homepage. But not a lot of people know that, or at least some people don't. And so maybe you wanna actually add home as a button up here. Well, you totally can. You go over to pages and navigation, and you'll see hidden from navigation, and then this is kind of like visible on navigation. If I want, I can literally just drag home up into the list, and so now there's the home. And then whatever page you're on is the one that's dark, as you can see. It's kind of like your active page. So now they can click on the home button. Now, if you don't want it on there, you can literally just drag it down into the hidden navigation. And so now it's still there, but you can't click on it up here. You can also rearrange the order if you want to. I forgot to put it back. You can rearrange the order by literally just dragging it. And so now projects is in front of about. I could put about at the very end. And so now it's way over here. And then you can also make subcategories. And so you'll sometimes see websites where you hover over this and there's a bunch of menu options. You can totally do that. Let's go ahead and add these two under careers, or these three, I mean. So let's put them under careers here, just like this. Now my menu's too big. Well, all I have to do is go over to the settings tab and I can say, make it a drop down. And so now, as you can see, it indents it. And so now it's under careers. Let's go ahead and do that. The same thing for these two. Drop down, drop down. Okay, so now under careers, if I hover my mouse, I've got 3 pages that I can go to. That's pretty cool. All right, you can also add and remove. You can delete if you want to, and you can duplicate. So deleting is basically just hiding from navigation, but you can duplicate the home button. So if I hit it again, so now there's a second one, home copy. No point for having this. I can go to settings and I can actually delete it. But let's say instead of having multiple pages, you just want a single page website. Well, remember how I named this section? If I go over here and hit section, anchor, about, remember how I named it about? Well, you can also add a button up here or to the about section. You can actually do that. And so what you would do is you'd come down here, instead of adding a page or a new drop down, which a drop down is basically what we just made here, the careers, you'd come over here to add a link. And so you're basically saying this would be like the about section, right? I'm still caps lock, that's my bad. And then instead of linking it to a web address, I would go to a section and I would say about, save. And so now when you click on about section, not about, because that one's going to a page. Now let's preview really quickly. It'll take you to the about section. So those don't work inside of the builder. I don't know why, but they work for your visitors. And so that's the big deal. So if I click on preview, I'm looking at my website. Let's say, oh, I want to go to the about section. And it drops you down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that really quickly. Click on settings and delete. Okay, and so now we've got nothing down here in the hidden navigation as well, so that's pretty good. Okay, so now that you guys know how to add links and add drop downs, we need to talk about adding a page to your website. So let's say you don't have a careers page, like I could delete this one completely. Let's say I want to add a portfolio page. So instead of having like my portfolio down below, let's just say I actually have a page for it, where I put all of my pictures. And so the first thing I'd want to do is probably treat this section like all the others. You see how it says, hey, here's a little taste, but if you want to see more, click here. Well, I should probably make this a little teaser as well. So what we'll do is we'll probably increase the height just a little bit more, add an element, and I can put a button down here. We'll center it up just like this. And we can say, or we can just go visit portfolio. And then I can change this to a page, and we haven't created it yet. So we're going to create that in just a second. So we'll go over here to pages and navigation, and we'll click on add a page. And it's going to say, hey, do you want to use a template or do you want it just an empty page? And so usually you'd probably want to just do an empty page and build it yourself, but you can also use templates, right? Well, I'm going to have to create an empty page because it doesn't look like they have a portfolio. options. So let's click on new empty page. And as you can see, the footer is right up against the header. So here's the header, here's the footer. There's nothing in between, this little blue line right here. So if we want to add something in between, we'd have to add a section. And let's just create a gallery. And then this is where, you would post all of your pictures and it'd be a lot longer, right? So I'm not really going to get too crazy into customizing this page. I just want to show you guys that that's how you would create it. And so now we can go over to pages and navigation. And back on the home page. And so now you'll notice that new empty page is over here because we didn't even give a title to that page. So we can come over here to new empty page, which is our portfolio. We can click on the gear icon. You don't want to make it the home page because home is the home page. So let's say you created another page and wanted that to actually be the home page. You could make it that. But what we're going to do is go into the settings and we can change the name in the navigation, which is portfolio, or it's just going to go away. That's cool. Let me go ahead and try that again. So settings. Okay, so portfolio, and then we can click on save. And so now we have named it portfolio, as you can see. And so if I go back to the home page, you'll see portfolio over here on the right-hand side. And so what I'm actually going to do is probably just remove careers because there's no point in having a careers page when I'm a photography website. I'm just a freelancer trying to show off my pictures, right? So I don't need to hire people. Okay, so what I might actually do is instead just completely delete this entire page because I'm never going to use it. So we can just click on the gear icon and say delete. And we're going to have to do the same thing with all three of the sub pages. So let's go ahead and just delete those really quickly. Perfect. Okay, so now we got home, about, project, services, contacts, and portfolio. And contacts, we should probably change that because it's not contacts, it's contact, singular. So let's go into the settings and we'll just change the name to contact. Perfect. So that's the contact. And then also we probably want portfolio somewhere like up here rather than being way over here. Actually, it should be after services. There we go. Because it's at the very bottom before the contact and it's at the very bottom, as you can see. Okay, cool. So that is the website pages and navigations tab right here. And so we can close out of that one. So we've already talked about elements and we've talked about pages and navigation, and we've also talked about website styles. So now what we can do is we can start talking about blog and online store. But before we do that, I forgot that I wanted to mention right up here, you've got your mobile responsive modes. Now, as you can tell, this template was downloaded to be complete for both, but we made changes to this top right here. So I bet this is going to look wrong. If I click right here, it's going to change to mobile responsive mode. And so as you can see, it looks terrible, but the rest of the template's going to look fine, right? Everything looks good. So that's the rest of my website, but we can make some changes here. For instance, first of all, any changes you make on the mobile version, it's completely different from the desktop version. So you don't even have to worry about any changes making or affecting the desktop version. So if I make a change, for instance, like I click on this text right here and I say I actually want it to be like size 32, right? Drag it down here. If I make that size 32 and go back to desktop, that's not 32 size. It's still 100. So as you can see, any changes you make to one doesn't affect the other. So let's go ahead and fix this really quickly. The other one is the subtitle. And so we can edit the text and change it from 32. Let's make it 24 or smaller because it's a subtitle, right? So we'll drag the button down, we drag the text up, center it, drag the button up and center it just like this. We can also maybe reduce the text size on this one. So we can click on edit button and we'll go over to the style and we can just reduce the font size with something like that. Perfect. So now from desktop to mobile, I've got different sizing and it's not affecting the desktop version. So that's pretty cool. Now, I'll let you guys go through the rest of the website because you guys already know how to make editing changes, right? You can literally just drag anything wherever you want and change sizes. But I wanted to show you guys that that's another feature of Hostinger's Website Builder is you can change between mobile and desktop whenever you want. Okay, so back to going down the tab over here. The next thing we have is blog and online store. Now, if you remember earlier when we were working with the AI generated website and down below, like right here in the center, we could choose what pages to add and we could add the online store, the blog, the appointments tab. Well, that's what basically these are. Now, you have the option of instantly adding a blog functionality to your website with literally the click of a button. It's so much easier than trying to set up a blog in WordPress. All you have to do is click on the blog on the left-hand side and then you can add the blog. Now, I'm not going to go into everything inside of the blog because that would make this tutorial a whole other hour long. But if you're interested in learning how to set up a blog through Hostinger's Website Builder, go ahead and leave a comment down in the description and let me know if that's something that you guys would be interested in. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and get back to the tutorial. I just wanted to show you guys that that is how you would add a blog to the website if you wanted to. So I'm just going to go ahead and close out. And so next we have the online store. You can also add an online store function to your website again with the click of a button. All you got to do is go over to the left-hand side and click on online store, and then you can just add the store to your website. You can also do this by going to add elements and then adding an add to cart button. Either way, you're gonna instantly add an online store into your website with just one click. However, again, I'm not gonna be showing you guys how to set up an entire online store using Hostinger's website builder because that would add yet another hour to this tutorial, and that's not what we're gonna do here. So if that's something that you guys would be interested in, go ahead and leave a comment down in the description, and I can go ahead and build a tutorial on how to build an online store. You can also use all of the AI tools available to you while editing your website, where you can have Hostinger use AI to generate things like a logo for you, text content, and it can even give you a heat map, which I'm not sure is super accurate, but it's gonna show what parts of your website are gonna be focused on the most with your client's eyes. Check this out. So over here on the left-hand side, you'll see that we have AI tools. The first one is Logo Maker, then we have AI Writer, which is basically the same thing as like the AI text writer right here, and then we have the AI heat map. So let's go ahead and play around with the Logo Maker first. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on this, it's gonna open a new tab, and apparently ask me to sign in for some reason. All right, let me go ahead and do that really quickly. All right, and once you sign in, if it makes you do that, I guess I've just been editing my website for so long that I got disconnected from Hostinger. But anyways, once you go ahead and click on the AI logo generator, it's gonna ask you to tell us about your brand. And so I can say my brand name is Levi Freelance Photography. And then from there, I've also got my slogan, which I could just say might be photography, videography, graphic design. And then my brand industry could be something like photography, landscape photography. Okay, and so now what I'm gonna do is click on Start Creating, and then Hostinger's AI is gonna generate, I think, like 9 different logos that I can choose from. If it's 9, or it might be even more than that. So we'll go ahead and wait for this to finish loading. Okay, and just like that, yeah, it looks like there are 16 different logos that I can choose from. So I've got all of these, which obviously the name and the slogan are way too long. You'd want something a lot shorter, but I mean, considering the fact that I gave it too many words, they did a pretty good job on creating all these different logos. They're pretty simple, to be honest, but if you were really in a pinch and you needed a logo fast, free, and you know nothing about graphic design, you can't really complain with these, you know what I mean? I could choose something like this, Levi Freelance Photography, and it's got like mountains in the background because that's what I'm taking pictures of. And this one looks pretty simple. I actually really like that. Now, what we can also do is if we want to further edit the logo, is we can go over here to describe the logo, and I could say something like, use mountains in the logo. And I'm prompting the AI to use mountains in the logo as it generates it. So watch this. Wow. Okay, so right off the bat, you can see that it started using mountains in the next 4 that it created. You can barely see that one, but those are mountains. So when you give it prompts, it looks like it adds 4 more to the giant list of prompts or of logos that you do. And so if I were to create again, I bet it'd give me 4 more. So now, once you guys like any of the logos that you see before you, which personally I'm leaning towards this one, I think it looks the best, you can click on it and you can even edit it further. Can you believe that? I can change the name. So if I want to change the text, I can change the text. I can also change the slogan right here. So maybe instead of this, I'd actually want it to be all caps. So let me do that really quickly. Levi Freelance Photography. And then the slogan, which I'm honestly not gonna put in all caps, I think that looks just fine. Then I can also change the icon. So if I click right here, I can choose from one of their icons, or I can do an AI drawn icon right here, which I can basically say, hey, draw me a cup of coffee, and it'll create it. And then I can change the color of everything, as you can see. So right here, if for instance I want my mountains to be something like a blue color, then I could totally do that. So there's my blue mountains with my black text, as you can see, but we'll just leave it black, obviously. I can change the icon scale, so I can make it smaller or bigger, which I think actually is at a perfect size. And then you can also change the layout, so I can move it over to the left, to the right, to the bottom, or to the top, right? And then I can change the text and icon color. So if I just want to change the entire color of everything, I can just click here and say I want everything red. That's pretty cool. Okay, and then when you're done and you like your logo, all you gotta do is download it for free. It's that easy. So you just click on it like this, and I've downloaded my logo to my computer. And now that I've downloaded my logo to my computer, I can go ahead and upload it to my website. But first, if you guys remember, my website has a dark background, so if I don't make it white, it's gonna be really hard to see. So let's actually go ahead and change it to be white, which you can't see it, but it's still there. We're gonna click on download for free, and there goes my logo file. Okay, so now that I'm done with the logo maker, which, I mean, the fact that they have an AI logo maker built in for free into your hosting plan, it's ridiculous. I think that's so freaking cool. Okay, so we've already talked about the logo maker. Let's go ahead and upload it into our header. We can click on the header. We'll go over here to change logo, and I can literally just replace it by uploading it from my computer. And I think, okay, so it's going to come as a zip file. So let's go ahead and I'm actually not going to open it here. Let me go ahead and open it in my computer first and unzip it, and then I'll be able to throw it into my website. Okay, so now we're going to go back, replace the image, and I'm going to upload it from my computer. And then I'll go to downloads. I already unzipped the folder, and you get the SVG file as well as a PNG file. So that's pretty cool, by the way. But we'll take the logo file right here, and there we go. I'm going to select it. And now my logo that was AI generated for me is now on my website. I didn't even touch that. I didn't hire a graphic designer to do it. None of that. I mean, this is just incredible. I can also increase the size if I want to, so something like this. And then also, the reason my navigation is pushed so far over is because of that shopping cart. So I can go actually back over here to the online store, and I can remove my store. Yes. And now it's pushed back over a little bit. So now if I wanted to, I could actually increase the size of my logo a little bit more, but that's completely up to you guys. And then I'll click on save. Okay, so that is the first of the 3 really cool AI tools that they have. All right, so that was the logo maker for AI tools. Let's see what the AI writer is. All right, and so next it's gonna ask if you want to select a topic. And so we're gonna say that we're art and design because I'm kind of like an artist, I guess, an artiste. I'm a photographer, so we're gonna say art and design. And then from here we can select a category. And hey, what do you know? We chose the correct category because here's photography. So I'll say photography, and then I can select a paragraph, and I guess I can just choose an about paragraph in English, and I can generate text. And now what it's going to do is say, hey, AI, write about content for a photography website in English. And as you can see, I can scroll through here and pick whatever text I want to be written for my website, which is pretty cool. Now, we already did the same thing by just clicking on it and saying AI assist, and then I had it write this out for me. But I just wanted to show you guys that they basically have content writing inside of their AI tools as well. So we'll go photography, about in English. And so you guys can see you got a bunch of variations that you guys can use, and you can pause the video and read through these if you want. And all you got to do is just hit copy text, and it's copied to my clipboard. And now I can go in here, and if I wanted to, I could add an element, like some text right here, and then I could change it to, you know, paragraph 3 or something. And then all I would do is just Control V or Command V and paste my paragraph. And there it is. That's the paragraph that I copied from my AI tools over here, but let's delete it. So you guys, if you don't know what to write and you're too lazy to click on this button, I guess you can come over here and click on this button. Okay, so that is the second one, which is AI Writer. Now we can talk about the AI heat map, and you're gonna click on it, and it's gonna generate an AI attention map. It's gonna generate an attention map using AI to determine what AI thinks people's eyes are gonna focus on when they're looking at your website. So take a look at this. Okay, check this out. If I scroll through my website, you'll see right down here, less attention is kind of more like blue, green, purple, and then over here on more attention, it's yellow, orange, and red, obviously. Kind of like a weather forecast, but as you scroll through your website, AI determines what it thinks are gonna be the things that your eyes focus on the most. And so, to be honest, again, I'm not too sure how accurate this is. It's a pretty cool feature, you know, in theory, but to be honest, look at this, it's kind of obvious. Yeah, the only thing they're gonna look at is the words and the button. And you scroll on down, that's the only thing you can look at. Same with these projects, and you see these 3 and then a button. Same here. The only content on my website is what's being highlighted. Same thing. So it looks like for the portfolio, it thinks that people are only going to look at her and kind of just focus on these top 3. So maybe you want to prioritize your best pictures to be in the top left corner over here. Scroll on down, and then they're not even going to look at my words. They're just going to look at this gray area. Cool. So that's how you can use the AI heat map. And then whenever you're done kind of looking at what AI thinks is going to be attention driven, you can go over here and just click on the X button and just turn it off. Okay, so those are all of the AI tools that you can use inside of the builder. Now, those aren't all of them because obviously we were also using the AI assist right here, but that's just a few. Now, you also have seamlessly integrated SEO tools that Hostinger provides in the website builder. That way you're able to optimize your website for Google. You can look up what SEO means on your own, but basically it's search engine optimization, which is optimizing your website in such a way that would be favorable to search engines like Google so that your site is ranked higher and put in front of more people, if that makes sense. Let me show you guys how to use those SEO tools right now. So again, we're gonna go over here to the left-hand side, and instead of hovering over these options up here, no, it's not languages, and no, it's not analytics, which analytics we don't have any anyways because we haven't actually had our website live yet. But it's none of these. We're gonna go down here to the bottom under website settings, and you'll see that we have a bunch of different tabs. And if I were to click on one, you'll see that all of these tabs are still available. So if I click on general settings, you'll see that I can still get to all of those same tabs just over here on the left-hand side now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to SEO. Right here, which is the same thing as clicking on SEO over there on that left-hand side. But what SEO is gonna do is it's gonna open up this prompt right here. And so it's gonna say, what's your business brand or name? And so we're gonna say my business brand is, well, you don't want it in all caps. So Levi Freelance Photography, next step. What's your website language? English, that was pretty easy. Next step. Tell us a little bit about your website. And so you guys can give out a little summary here. So let me go ahead and type something out. Okay, so I just put out something pretty sarcastic. Levi Hagen Freelance, that's my bad. Hang on a second. This is supposed to be Levi Freelance Photography. I keep messing that up. Okay, so Levi Freelance Photography is a landscape photography business that specializes in taking photos of landscape. Pretty self-explanatory. If you think about it, it kind of says it in the name of the business, so go figure it out. Okay, so obviously you would want your page description to be something better than this, but you basically want to give a little description about what this website is. And so you'd say something like, Levi Freelance Photography is the best freelance landscape photography business out there. We take photos of mountains, videos, blah, blah, blah. We also do real estate. We do, buildings and things like that. We're really good at this. We have a DJI drone. We do, all that stuff. You want to sell yourself, basically. I'm just doing something sarcastic because obviously this is an example, and so I thought I'd have some fun with it. Okay, so now that my page description is done, I can click on my next step, and it's going to ask me to select 3 keywords that describe my website. And so I've got landscape photography, Levi Freelance Photography is also one. Pretty self-explanatory. It's using these keywords from my description. So you might want your description not to be sarcastic so that you don't have sarcastically stupid options here. But I'm going to choose photos and I guess business, but looks like you can't choose multiple. So you only get 3. From here, we're going to choose next, and it's going to show us what we just built. So basically what we did is we gave our website a site title and site description. And so you've got Levi Freelance Photography dash capturing stunning landscapes, right? And so that's pretty cool on its own. And then we also gave the description right here. So specializes in capturing breathtaking landscape photos, blah, blah, blah. That's what it's going to look like. We've got the SEO title, meta description, and all of that stuff. We can click on finish, and that's done. Close out of that right here. And now you'll notice that the SEO tab is going to look like this every time I click on it. So if I go to website settings and click on SEO, it just opens this tab now. It doesn't have like a prompt that pops up in the center of my screen. So we're not done. As you can see, SEO opportunities, it's going to kind of walk you through how to do this. You're only on 2 out of 8. So we've done that for the homepage, but you have to basically repeat that same process that you just did right there for the projects page, the services page, the about page, contact page, portfolio page, store page. All of the pages that are on your website, you got to do it for. So if I click on projects, it's going to open up the exact same prompt that we just did. You give a little description, choose the 1 out of 3 that it represents, and so on. So we'll close out of that. So that is the first tab for SEO, which is pretty cool. Search engine optimization here. It's going to open up this guy. Another thing that you can do also is go over to the general settings, and you can choose to have things like a favicon, which is this little icon right up here, which right now it's using the default Hostinger logo, but you can update your logo and add your own image. For now, I'm going to choose this one, but what you would actually want to do, select, is you'd probably just want to crop out the icon, cut out the text, and that would be your favicon. But we'll click on save changes here. And if I save it, let's see if the preview is going to show it. If not, yeah, it doesn't look like it. When you go to the actual domain, so when you go to levifreelancephotography.com, that's the favicon that's going to show up there. So a little frustrating that doesn't actually show you on the preview, but what are you going to do? Let me try hitting refresh, and yeah, it's still going to use the same one. So we'll click on back to editor. Go back into the general settings of the website. But so now we have the favicon. We can also do a link preview image. And so basically, if anyone ever references the link that pops up on Facebook or Instagram or something like that, if someone copy and pastes your URL, this is the image that will be associated with the URL. I don't know if any of you guys have ever texted your friend a link on your smartphone, and then in the text message, it auto-populates with like a little picture above it, kind of previewing the website. That's this image right here. And so you're going to want to go ahead and take a picture that is phenomenal. It's got your logo, it's got graphic design on it so that it kind of shows off your brand. Or, you could probably just take a screenshot of your website if you want. Place it here. It's kind of up to you, but I'd recommend adding a link preview image. And then you also have a cookie banner. If you want to update that, you totally can. So this website uses cookies. Do you accept or decline? That kind of thing. And so you can enable it by clicking right here as well. And that's about it when it comes to the general settings and the SEO, or excuse me, when it comes to SEO. You want to have a favicon, you want to have your link picture, and then make sure that you guys do everything for the rest of these. And all it is just clicking on one at a time and adding in the description about what that page is. What's your store page? What's your projects page? What's your services page? So I'll let you guys do that. You saw me do the first one. Okay, so I'm going to close out of that really quickly and go back into website settings because I wanted to show you guys what all the other settings are. So the general settings, that's where you have these 4, which we already talked talked about. We've got the integrations tab, which this is basically like plugins when it comes to WordPress. You don't really have to worry about this, and this would be a whole other tutorial on its own, is talking about integrations and different plugins, but you can add plugins onto your website to add functionality. So for instance, you could connect WhatsApp, you could connect Messenger live chat. So as you can see when I'm on Hostinger's website, so up here in the corner, I'm still inside of Hostinger, they have a little help chat button right here where I can contact tech support and ask for help. You could enable that. So if I go back over here to website settings, integrations, you could enable that with a Messenger live chat. So using the Facebook Messenger, you can have that pop up right here. You can have the WhatsApp pop up down there. You can have different things plugged into your website. And if you guys are interested in having like an integrations plugin tutorial added to the channel, let me know in the comments down in the description and I can get on that. But again, this would take forever trying to show you guys how to use each plugin and how to do them and all of that stuff. So we'll go into that later. But you can also add in custom shortcode as well. Oh, also, you can, inside of add elements, you've got embed shortcode as well. So you can add little custom widgets if you want to. For those of you who know how to use shortcode, which I'm assuming most of you don't, so you don't have to. Okay, so back inside of the tabs, we've got the integrations tab. So that's like plugins for your website. Analytics is basically, as your website is online, it's gonna track the analytics of your website. So how many visitors, what's your CPR, what's your like click-through rate, all those kinds of things are gonna get listed right here. So that's pretty cool. And then you've got forms submissions. And so basically I've got my contact form that's on my contact page. So if I go over to contact here, oh, well, where is the contact form on this website? On the homepage? Huh, interesting. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and throw it on there right now. We're gonna add a section and just call it a contact form, and let's just add a random one really quickly. I did that kind of fast, but as you guys saw, I just clicked on it and I just chose a template and just decided to use one. So easy peasy lemon squeezy. I could try and replace this image really quickly. So let's go over here and choose replace image, free images, let's just say photographer. And let's pretend that's me holding that camera behind the smoke, right? That's my hand right there. Okay, so now what I can do is have this linked up to my contact form. And so we'll save. We'll go into our site settings here, form submissions. So now every single time someone enters in their information in that contact form and tries to talk to me, so in the contact form that's down here, this is where it's going to go. And so I can view the full list. And so as you can see, no one's filled out the form, but when they fill out the form, you'll be able to see who was trying to get in touch with you. And so that's what the form submissions is. And then finally you have export to WordPress. So you can try and take this entire website and export it to WordPress. But the whole point of this video is talking about how to use the Hostinger builder, not WordPress. So we'll just close out of that as well. All right, friends, now we have a completed website and we're ready to take what we've made and publish it live to the internet. Whenever you're ready to publish your website, you can go to the top right corner of your builder and click on publish. This will take all of the changes that you just made to your site and publish them live onto the internet. Now, when anyone goes to your domain name that you guys purchased at the beginning of the video, they'll see the website that you've made. Now, just a heads up here, there's no way to unpublish your website once you've published it. Trust me, I checked. So make sure you're ready to publish before you actually do it. And if you accidentally click on the publish button like this, don't worry, it's gonna ask if you're sure and you can always just cancel out of the publication. If you accidentally do publish your website, don't fret. You can always hide your website and make changes to it while it's password protected. You can also create a landing page or like a maintenance page, letting your visitors know your estimated completion time. That's usually standard practice. You can even just log in and make changes and then click on update in the top right corner and it'll update your website right then and there. So if you wanna make a quick change, you can. It's all up to you on how you wanna go about it, but all of that would be in a totally different video. If you're interested in learning how to password protect your website, go ahead and leave a comment down in the description and let me know. And just like that, congratulations, your website is now published and live online. And so if anyone ever goes to LeviFreelancePhotography.com, this is what they're gonna see, just like this. So this is your website. Completely up online, published and ready to go. So that's pretty cool. Close out of that and go back to our page here. I think that this website turned out wonderfully. And I'm super impressed with how easy it was to make it using Hostinger's website builder paired with those AI tools, which saves so much time. AI is becoming one of my biggest companions when it comes to creating a website nowadays. Do you guys want to see how far you can really take things with AI? Check out this video right here and watch me use my favorite AI tools to build an entire site from beginning to end. You guys won't believe the results. I'll see you there.